Hello, everyone, and welcome to SCORE Fairfield County's live webinar on using SWOT in your business planning: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I'm Tim Ryan, the webinar coordinator and a business mentor here at SCORE Fairfield County, and I'll be your host. Our presenter today is Harvey Hoffman. More on Harvey in just a minute. First, some brief information on SCORE. We have over 320 offices nationwide with over 11,000 volunteers. We're part of the Small Business Administration. In SCORE Fairfield County, we have over 130 volunteers with a wide range of industry, process, and subject matter expertise. We offer 3 primary value-added services to small business owners. 1, free one-on-one counseling. 2, educational workshops and webinars, over 150 per year. And 3, we have extensive resources on our website, including a network of subject matter experts at your disposal, as well as templates to help you with your business plan. SCORE puts on many webinars each month. Look for future events on our webinar calendar at fairfieldcounty.score.org. Some useful information about today's event. If you have a question, please use the chat window at any time during the presentation. It is located in the lower part of your screen. Our webinar will end at 1 p.m. to respect your time. The session is being recorded, and the link to the recording will be available at fairfieldcounty.score.org within the next couple of days. Now our speaker. While in industry, Dr. Hoffman held positions ranging from research and development engineer, group manager, project manager, to general manager. In aerospace, he worked on the Space Shuttle and the Titan rocket. He is the author of project management and capstone project books and more than 20 academic and technical papers. He teaches business courses at Fairfield University. Welcome, Doctor. It's all yours now.
Okay, thank you very much, Tim. I appreciate that, and thank you everyone for showing up for this presentation. So we're going to talk about the business plan, and the business plan is kind of standard in many presentations. I'm going to show a little wrinkle that some of you may or may not be aware of. We're going to talk about how the SWOT, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats concept may help you with your business plan. So we're going to talk about entrepreneurship, talking about the basics of the business plan, SWOT, what it means, and then I'm going to talk about the gap analysis and how the SWOT will help you with the gap analysis. So as an entrepreneur, you're a person who is interested in taking on an organization, managing, looking at risks in a new business venture. You're going to need a whole host of personal skills, business knowledge. Hopefully you have a real good idea. You will likely need some startup money, and you'll need support from a whole variety of people. What will be really crucial as well is to have a good personal credit history. So your skills, your personal skills, well, you have to have a little bit of determination, the ability to make decisions, coordination. So many things are happening at any one time. So you're going to want to be able to multitask, juggle a whole host of jobs. You're going to have organizational skills and the ability to deal with a huge amount of stress. Now, to summarize all this, you really need self-confidence. Now, of course, your business knowledge, in addition to your individual personal skills, is crucial. You know your product, you know the market. You're going to ask yourself, hey, what's the competition? Who am I working for or against? Can I manage my time and then manage other people? Do you have the ability to manage money, credit? Can you negotiate with clients and suppliers? And then you're going to need a whole host of support from your family, from your friends, and perhaps from other professionals. And it will, especially when you're beginning and starting out, you're going to need to network with many people in the business environment. So, what is a business plan? People have been talking about business plans, and you may have attended some other seminars dealing with business plans. Well, essentially, a business plan answers the newspaper questions: who, what, why, where, when, and how. Those are the basic business questions. The business plan is, yes, it's for other people, but it's really to help you focus, crystallize your thinking. It will help you describe your business. It talks about your vision to potential investors or potential lenders, and it explains what you want in this business. It should identify problems and perhaps ways of solving problems. And you should be able to glean from this plan the amount of capital required to finance your business, your new business. So it's crucial to put together a business plan so that you can start off successfully. And it really doesn't matter whether you're just starting it or operating in operation right now, or expanding your business, or perhaps leaving your business, but you should have a plan. A typical business plan has these 7 constituents. We understand what the problem is. We understand what your product or service is. Describe it. Is there a need? What is the need? What makes you different? What makes your product or your service different? What's the competition? You've got to understand who you're fighting against. Do you have a marketing plan? And then do you have an HR plan? Will you need additional people? Chances are you will. What's your plan for acquiring help? And then, of course, finance. What's your plan for finance? The SWOT analysis that I'll talk about in a few minutes takes all of these items into consideration, all of them, and I'll show you how. So let's take a look at the first item. What's your business? What's the problem that you're trying to solve? What's the product that you're offering? What's the service that you're offering? Okay. What unique benefit will you provide to which customers and to solve which problem? And then I'm going to ask you to take some time to develop an elevator pitch. Now, an elevator pitch is roughly a 30 to 60 second soundbite that tells people what you do, what your business is about. So imagine yourself going up in an elevator with someone, and you want to tell them what you're all about, what your business is all about, before you get to the next floor. So you want to be able to be persuasive and then practice your pitch so it sounds reasonable, doesn't sound robotic, don't sound too fast, because you want a person to understand it, and you want to make sure you're not rambling. So this is the 30 to 60 second elevator pitch that you should practice so that you know precisely what you want to say to another person about your business and your business idea. So the need, you gotta have a need. Who needs it? What does your customer, your patient, what do they need? Why do they need it? What are the benefits? Is this product or service bigger, smaller, cheaper, faster, better, smarter? Why should a person acquire your product or service? Is your product or service a stepping stone to something better? Does it help them avoid costs? Does it help them improve the top line of revenue? Does it help improve the bottom line, profit? Does it improve service? Why should a person acquire your product or service? Will the acquisition of your product or service change a customer's operation? Will it solve a personal or a business problem? Make sure you understand what the need for your product or service really is. Now, why is it better? How do you deliver your solution? What is your secret sauce? Warren Buffett, and I'm sure you've all heard of Warren Buffett, when he acquires a business, he's looking for a business with a wide moat. And that, when I use the word wide moat, I'm talking about a big competitive advantage that your organization, that your company has over everyone else. So what is your moat? Do you have something that creates a barrier to entry? You have some specific knowledge, technical knowledge that other people don't have. Is that your secret sauce? Is your secret sauce a patent that no one else has? What is your specialty? What is your unique idea? Is it a technology? Does it have to do with people? So think about what makes you different and better. And in terms of competition, goodness, who are the competitors? How many competitors do you have? Where are they located with respect to your business location? What's the difference between you and your competition? So I understand that you're good in your field, but are you really better? Do you have a competitive advantage in price? Do you have a competitive advantage in technology? Do you have a competitive advantage with regard to intellectual property? Maybe you have a patent, maybe you have a copyright. What do you have that makes you significantly different? Do you have a special location? Why will customers or clients or patients pick you over the other alternatives? So you gotta have a marketing plan. You have a marketing plan. Have a marketing plan. You're gonna target your clients, understand the market size. How can you penetrate that market? Are there any demographic factors? Okay, so you have to understand who your competitors are. What is your client profile? What will you offer that's better than everyone else? How will your customers know about your company's services and products? How will you get people, companies, organizations to switch to you? How are you going to generate leads? How are you going to contact your customers? So you also have to understand your competition. What are their strengths and weaknesses when you talk about this? HR. HR is crucial. How are you going to recruit, retain, and develop employees? Chances are you're not a company solely of one. Maybe initially you'll be a one-person operation, but it can't be for long. Who's going to be on your management team? Are you going to subcontract any work? Are you going to team with someone else? Do you have outside professionals? Now, chances are you're going to need a bookkeeper. You're going to need a lawyer, perhaps an accountant. All of these will not be full-time people, of course. They're going to be outside consultants that you're going to be using. Who will you use? How will you use them? You got to have money, of course, set aside to them. Now, this is kind of crucial, financial planning. We got to have an understanding of how much money we're going to spend in the first couple of years. How much income are we going to have? In all likelihood, you're not going to make a profit immediately. But goodness gracious, within a few months, you should be able to show that there's a pathway to a profit. We have to understand, do we have a balance sheet? Do we have something about, do we know what our assets, liabilities are? What will our income be over the 2 years? How about our cash flow? You have to sit down and plan all of this out with a budget. Understand, like I said a few minutes ago, that we're going to lose money initially. Do I have enough money in the bank to support me until we break even? When will we become profitable? Okay. You know, an investor is going to ask you, what are you going to do with the money that they lend you? What will you do? Are they going to take a piece of the business? Are they going to expect money back within a certain time period? Can you show that you're going to provide them with a profit or with a safe way to get their money back? You got to ask yourself also, how are you going to live while the business is in the process of becoming profitable? Because in all likelihood, it's going to take several months at the least before you become profitable. So now I want to introduce the concept of the SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This is a tool that will help you in your business plan preparation. It's all it is another tool. What, in terms of strengths, what makes your business stand out? Weaknesses, in what areas are you vulnerable? In terms of opportunities, what things can you take advantage of that's out there? And threats, goodness gracious, what factors, what is going to happen in the environment that might endanger your business. So the SWOT analysis helps you to understand yourself. It will hopefully help you to understand where your business can focus. It will help you understand the industry. It will ask questions of you, and I'm going to ask questions of you in this SWOT. I'm going to show you that in a moment. It's going to help you understand what advertising and marketing is needed. And we're going to help you, push you, that's what the SWOT analysis will do, to understand the threats that you're confronted with, and then come up with a mitigation plan so that you can react proactively to these threats. So this is kind of a summary. Strengths and weaknesses are within the organization. Opportunities and threats are outside. So what are the opportunities outside of your organization? What are the threats outside? And the strengths and weaknesses, that's within your organization. So if we take a look solely, this is a this chart, very crowded here, but take a look at the strengths. I'm asking you to ask yourself the answers to the questions I'm raising over here. In terms of your strengths, what do you do well? What are your unique skills associated with this business? What specialized or expert knowledge do you have? Do you have experience in this field? And what do you do better than your competition? What are the credentials and licenses that you offer? Do you have any financial reserves? Do you have a product demand that you're aware of? Do you have employees? Will you need employees? Will they be trained? Do you have a sales staff with strong knowledge of existing products? Do you have a good relationship with customers? All of these are strengths. If you're going to be in a store, do you have a high traffic location? Do you need a high traffic location? If you're doing consulting, it doesn't matter. Do you have a successful marketing strategy? What's your brand reputation? Crucial, do you have any patents or trademarks, or maybe licenses? In terms of weaknesses, and this is so hard to be honest with yourself, what areas do you need to improve? What resources do you lack? What profits? What parts of your business are not very profitable? You need further education. You need a diversification strategy. If we only have one product or service, is that really enough? You have too much work. You have high rental costs. All of these things are weaknesses, and you have to think about these. What about advertising costs, cash flow problems? You have too much stock in the bag. How about your record keeping? brand name, is it strong? So these are strengths and weaknesses about you and your organization. Now, for an external environment, we're talking about opportunities and threats. So the opportunities, what are the customer needs? What are the industry trends? How can you do more for your existing customers or clients? Can you broaden your product line or your service offering? Can you come up with partnerships or alliances with other business like Amazon or Google? Is there an opportunity for growth in underrepresented geographic markets? Is there a niche target market that you can offer? What about social changes? So these are all opportunities. Is there a government change that's coming down the pipe that might impact you, that impact the business? Is there something at the state level or the federal level that might be of significance? Threats, same thing, by the way. Government can go both ways. It can hurt you or help you. So are there federal or state changes that could impact you? So in terms of threats, how about your competition? How are they threatening you? What's your competitor doing that you're not doing? What's going on in the economy? And goodness gracious, in today's world, there's a lot. There are changing demographics. Industry strength. What's the strong things in the industry? What are the weaknesses in the industry? Do you have any patents that that are working against you that someone else might have? Okay, so is there a downturn in the economy? What's happening with COVID? How's that impacting you? So you have to outsource a lot. Is technology helping or hindering you? If you were to switch to a new product, you lose old customers. These are threats. So let's talk about a computer store. This is an example. In a computer store, what we have is a knowledge. The computer store that we're talking about here has some special knowledge. We have the fact that our competitors in our computer store, and I'm fabricating a situation here, our competitors are pushing boxes. That's the big box stores. But we know systems and networks and programming and data management. That's our strength. And we get to know our customers in our computer store. And we've been in town for a long time. Our weakness is that the major box stores are pushing boxes and they sell them for less. And we don't have the brand power that our competitors have. In terms of opportunities, well, we can provide a training that maybe the major stores don't provide. We can provide more service that the major stores don't offer. That's an opportunity. A threat, price. If a person is price oriented, well, they're going to go to the big box store. And today, things like computers are appliances. So that is a threat to our business. In terms of a SWOT analysis for Domino's Pizza, they're a worldwide pizza chain, strong brand equity. They offer quick service, large menu selection. They're also increasing their international sales. The weaknesses, hey, in our today's world, we're focused on low-calorie foods, beautiful figures. So high-calorie, high-fat foods are not good. We have a franchise management, high employee turnover. These are all weaknesses in the Domino's organization. The opportunities: improve efficiency, improve home delivery service, introduce new toppings that are specific to a region. Perhaps our threats might be, like I said a few minutes ago, changing trends towards the healthier lifestyle. That's a threat. And competition from other chains. And then increases in labor and food prices. PepsiCo, well, they have a strong brand image, an extensive global distribution network, but they have low penetration outside the Americas. I don't know if that's really true. I'm just guessing. Perhaps a limited business portfolio. And they don't market to health-conscious consumers. The opportunities, well, business diversification, market penetration in developing countries. Again, I'm making this up to some extent. The threats: aggressive competition, the healthy lifestyles, environmentalism. So we're going to talk a little bit about the gap analysis in a moment. So a gap analysis is really asking ourselves, based on the SWOT analysis, where are we today and where do we want to be in the future? Where are we now? Where do we want to be? And this results in an action plan that we would take advantage of. So the SWOT analysis will help us with developing a gap analysis. We have to understand, how do we close that gap? And solutions might include things like hiring more employees, obtaining additional training, obtaining extra machines and equipment. These things might help you in your gap analysis. Developing or improving a website, diversifying, offering perks and incentives to get the best out of employees, and developing an improved social media strategy, which is so crucial in today's business world. These are all ideas that will help you in your gap analysis. Now, this is absolutely crucial. It's said in the business world, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So it's very, very important to track your income, your actual income versus your expectations. Understand your competition, track them. Come up with a set of key performance indicators. They're frequently called KPIs. And develop methods to collect and organize your data. Track the actual income versus your goals, and somehow understand a KPI to measure your marketing effectiveness. So the SWOT and the business plan put together will help you. It will help you identify key performance indicators. It will help you understand your grasp onto these business opportunities by capitalizing on your strengths. It will help you to understand your weaknesses and then take advantage of business opportunities. There's an opportunity to understand what are the outside forces that could threaten our business so that we can prepare. We have to come up with mitigation plans to handle these outside threatening forces that would upset our business. Come up with a plan. And then the SWOT analysis, the gap analysis, will help us eliminate the weaknesses that will harm your business from threats. Now, I want you to understand the difference between an equity investor versus a debt investor, a lender. Many entrepreneurs are intuitive and rely on their experience and industry knowledge and their gut feel to tell them whether a project makes sense. So rather than, they don't always work with numbers. But most investors are methodical. They want numbers. They want numbers. So go ahead and listen in on Shark Tank, and you can know immediately an investor is going to want to hear numbers. And so if you come up with a number that is somewhat misleading, that's going to come up through the due diligence process that will happen, and it will harm the acquisition of funding. Now, others, an investor or a lender, they don't have your technical knowledge. You have the technical knowledge. But they will nonetheless want to see that you have thoroughly analyzed and planned this project, not only from a technical perspective, but from a financial aspect. So you need that complete business plan that we're describing here to help them be interested in your business. So here's what I call a canvas that helps you answer some of the questions that I started out with way back in one of the first slides. Way back in one of the first slides, I asked you about the who, what, why, where, when, and how of your business. And the business plan and the SWOT analysis is there to help you in this. So this kind of summarizes everything I've said today. What are you selling? What service is provided? What are you going to offer? Describe your product. What's the need? Why is this unique? Who's the competition? Where are they located? What are they offering? Who's your target market? What resources will you need? How are you going to pay for those resources, by the way? What's your marketing plan? What's your business concept? How are you going to distribute the product or service? Are you going to manufacture it? Are you going to say, hey, I have a great technical idea, but I don't want to manufacture it. I want to patent it and then license it. That's a great, I think, thing to do rather than go into your own business. Just go into the licensing business. What are the KPIs, the key performance indicators, that you should be creating and developing that tells you that the business is succeeding or maybe you need some improvement? Do I have a social networking approach in today's environment? Okay, how am I going to distribute the product or service? Where is my office, manufacturing, consulting, store? Where is my location? Is it the right location? What's the environment? Is this a high traffic environment? Do I need a high traffic environment? My expenses, and I have to go, and I mentioned this earlier, go out for 2 years. What's my revenue? What's my gross? What is my profit? Initially, perhaps for 6 months or so, you're not going to have a profit. Do I have enough financial reserves to carry me through this time? What will the legal structure of your organization be? How about insurance? Do I need liability insurance? Do I need malpractice insurance? Do you need any professional certifications? Permits. Do I need any permits to do what I want to do? Tell me the nature. Just tell yourself the nature of your industry. Is it a growing industry? Is it a mature industry? Is the industry in decline? Are there federal or state or local issues impacting the industry? How about intellectual property? Do I have anything proprietary? Do I have a patent? Do I have a trademark, copyright? What do I have in the way of intellectual property? Do I need any government or professional organization approvals? You know, if I'm going to sell this product or service to Europe or to Quebec in Canada, I would then need ISO approval. Do I know how to get it? Do I know what it means? So this is kind of a canvas to take everything that we've talked about in the business plan and help you put it together. The question to you now is, do you have any questions?
Well, thank you, Dr. Hoffman. That was really, really interesting. It was great. We're now going to use the remaining time for questions and answers. We'll take as many as possible up till 1 o'clock. So you can please submit them via the chat feature in the lower portion of your screen. The general one I would make is we don't provide our client list to our presenters, and we don't send out copies of the presentations, but the copy recording of this presentation will be available on our website within a couple days, and it's going to be at fairfieldcounty.score.org underneath webinars and workshops, where you probably signed up for today's event. And there's a list of on-demand recordings, and this one will be on the top of the list. And so let me just say that, you know, your examples were excellent. The computer store, Domino's, Pepsi, that's how most people learn, I think, is when they actually see an example and put in, Doctor, and they were well done. You know what it reminded me is that occasionally you should go back and update these SWOT analysis. I would imagine, for instance, Domino's Pizza has a new opportunity in that with COVID, a lot of sit-down restaurants are closing, and which favors a takeout business quite a bit.
That's true. I have not updated them. Like COVID.
Yeah, right. I would imagine that you should share your SWOT analysis with others. You know, a lot of the times we'll get in a mentoring situation, and the person, the entrepreneur, draws a blank. He says he doesn't really have any strengths, or he underestimates his strengths, or could be the other way around. He underestimates his competition. So maybe it just points out you should share your SWOT analysis with your spouse or your workmates or your SCORE mentor, for that matter, and get feedback on it. The gap analysis really impressed a lot of people. Creating positive change, it helps you identify the things that you want to do, whether it's getting training or changing your social media marketing or whatever that is. Very good. You know, the emphasis you have on planning reminded me of a quote from Henry Ford that I heard, that a problem well defined is 95% complete. And that's what this whole SWOT analysis really is helping you get to that planning stage, isn't it?
Well, there's that chart way back. Let me see
Yep.
if I can find it. These two charts over here are asking a lot of questions. Your strengths, weaknesses, and then opportunities and threats. They're asking a lot of questions, which a person has to do a little soul searching about. And there are additional questions that one could put into these charts, but I think this is enough to start with. But
Right.
this is really important for you to understand. And it's extraordinarily difficult to be honest with yourself. So to think about what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses, that's sometimes really hard to do, but you have to be honest with yourself. I usually tell people to go into a room, no one else around, and just do this in private, and try to be honest with yourself. Because starting a business is really difficult. It's frightening, and you want to be prepared for all of these things. So you've got to be honest with yourself to start.
Right. Yes. So someone once reminded me that you know, most small businesses are self-funded, which means they don't go to investors. They don't go to banks. They self-fund and start off small. In which case they may forego those complicated business plans with their many chapters. But something as simple as this SWOT analysis would be extremely important for them to go through. Yep.
I just want to add to what you said. I know even if you self-fund your business, if you don't do this a plan, then you haven't focused. You haven't crystallized your thinking. The purpose of a plan is not only to help get your money from an investor or from a lender, but it's going to help you focus on yourself and crystallize your thinking and understand where you really want to go. So
Right.
Some people don't always, they have enthusiasm, but they don't have a real focused concept.
Right. Okay. Next question is from Deb. She's saying, this is wonderful. If we have questions after this, can we forward questions to the presenter? Is he available for advice and feedback to certain people, I guess, or I don't know how you want to respond to that, Harvey.
The answer is I only have a certain limited amount of time because I am working. So I really can't entertain questions, individual consulting questions from
Right.
people. I just don't have that time. I'm being very forthright and honest with you.
Yeah, so I guess the answer there, Deb, is you should probably contact a SCORE for and line yourself up with a mentor. Mentoring is, of course, free, as well as all of our education offerings are free. All of our mentors are familiar with the SWOT analysis. The next question is how do you link with a long-term strategy planning?
Well, this is as long-term. This is not necessarily short-term. When I've asked you, and of course we have to define what long-term means.
Right.
But from a financial standpoint, I'm suggesting that you put together a 2-year plan, of what services are you going to offer, what's the income for over the next 2 years, what will be your profit, what will be your net sales, gross sales. Just get a handle on this for a 2-year time span.
Yep.
And can you see yourself making a profit within roughly 6 months, 7 months?
Right. Okay. The next question is from a friend of mine, Jillian from Trumbull. Sorry about that. As a small nonprofit startup, I so appreciate this as I juggle priorities on a day-to-day basis. What part of this would you say is critical? All of it?
Oh my goodness. You have to understand every aspect of what we've been talking about. There is nothing that's less important. I mean, if I go back to this first slide here, one of the first slides, this slide over here, we need to know the answers to all of these questions. Is there a need for the product or service? Is it unique? What's the competition? What's your marketing plan? In all likelihood, you'll need an HR plan and certainly finances. So every one of these items is critical.
Right. Yep. Very good. Next question. Oh, it's rotating on me here. I might have missed it, but was establishing a social media presence for your business mentioned? It is vital in today's business environment. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an important part of any marketing plan, right? Right, Harvey?
Absolutely, absolutely. And yes, it was mentioned in one of the slides, in a couple of slides, in fact, that we have to have a social media. If you take a look at the last slide with the canvas, it's certainly mentioned there. It's mentioned elsewhere, but you got to have a social media plan for sure.
Right. Jill's asking, I want to start a private practice since I'm a clinician and have been working at home for a group practice. I'd like to set up my own private practice. Where can I go for guidelines? I guess it would be the SCORE mentoring. You would go to the SCORE, Fairfield County SCORE, fairfieldcounty.score.org website, and right on the front page, there's a request a mentor section there, and they'll fix you up with someone. And when you're filling out these forms, by the way, for mentoring service, be as detailed as you want. If you need legal help, mention it. We have people who stress who concentrate in that area, or if it's accounting, if it's marketing, by all means mention it. We have people that work and can line you up with a subject matter expert as well. Next question. My biggest issue is how to do financial bookkeeping, which now done by our group practice business office. I see. So I think that as well would be just a reference to, SCORE mentoring and encourage you to sign up. I think that's all the questions that have come in, Doctor. Once again, this SCORE offers free individual counseling. We're doing a lot via Zoom these days and not meeting face to face. So please use the fairfieldcounty.score.org as your website. Is the website to go sign up for a mentor or to sign up for future events like this. On behalf of SCORE, I'd like to thank you all for attending today's SCORE live webinar. In closing, a big thanks to Dr. Hoffman for everything you do for SCORE. Your volunteer efforts are well appreciated. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you very much, and good luck to everyone.